So first off, today I'd like to thank our law enforcement partners who are joining us. U.S. DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration, Special Agent in Charge James Nunnally is here. Commander Anthony Dupree and Lieutenant Cesar Jimenez with San Diego Police Department. Carlsbad Police Department Chief Christy Calderwood. Chula Vista Police Department Captain Henry Martin. Oceanside Police Department Chief Torino Valdivinos. Escondido Police Department Lieutenant Ryan Hicks. La Mesa Police Department Lieutenant Jose Gaitan. And we're all here today to recognize the extraordinary leaders, Senator Jones, Brian Jones, and Supervisor Joel Anderson, for their unwavering commitment to public safety, their decisive action in combating one of the most dangerous threats facing our communities, illicit fentanyl. Over the past decade, fentanyl has emerged as one of the deadliest substances in America. Here in San Diego County, the impact has been devastating. In 2021 alone, we lost 743 lives to fentanyl-related overdoses, accounting for more than 70% of all overdose deaths in our region. While recent years have shown progress, with a 30% decrease in fentanyl-related deaths in 2024, the loss of 494 lives remains a sobering reminder that our work is far from over. Every number represents a family shattered, a community grieving, and a life cut short. From the beginning, we knew that enforcement alone could not solve this crisis. Our sheriff's teams work diligently every day, whether out on the beat, on patrol, or on a task force focused on combating drug interdiction. But we wanted to bring intentional resources for this specific threat to our region so that we can go after the epicenter of local traffickers. That's why we needed a comprehensive, multi-pronged approach, one that combined enforcement to dismantle trafficking networks and remove deadly substances from our streets, harm reduction, including widespread naloxone distribution and life-saving interventions, education and prevention programs to inform families and to empower our communities. This strategy has saved lives and contributed to a significant decline in fentanyl-related deaths locally and nationally. Recognizing the urgent need for enforcement resources, Senator Brian Jones secured a $1 million state allocation in 2023. And Supervisor Joel Anderson championed an additional $1 million investment through the County Board of Supervisors in 2024 and 2025, $500,000 each year. These funds have enabled the Sheriff's Office's Fentanyl Abatement and Suppression Team, or the FAST team, and our partners too, seize nearly $26.6 million worth of illicit fentanyl, including 1.7 million pills and 118 pounds of powder. We've made 90 arrests of individuals responsible for trafficking this deadly drug. These efforts have disrupted criminal organizations, prevented countless tragedies, and saved lives. Since December of 2022, the Sheriff's Office has been distributing harm reduction kits across San Diego County. The kits, which you can see on display in this room, consist of a box of life-saving medication, the naloxone, which contains 2 doses of the nasal spray. Brochures are in English and in Spanish, and they provide instructions on how to use naloxone. This program gives deputies the ability to proactively educate individuals at outreach events and service calls. Our goal is to prevent overdose deaths caused by fentanyl and other opioids. Patrol deputies also have access to naloxone, as do people in our custody in all of our county jails. I also want to credit the great work being done by our San Diego County departments and community-based organizations. They play an important role in education efforts, especially with our youth, about the dangers of fentanyl and other illicit drugs. Now I'd like to introduce U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration Special Agent in Charge, James Nunnally, to talk more about the efforts to keep illicit fentanyl out of our region. James.
Sheriff Martinez, thank you for your leadership. Good afternoon. My name is James Nunnally, and I'm the Special Agent in Charge of the Drug Enforcement Administration in San Diego. I'd like to begin by thanking Senate Minority Leader Brian Jones and Supervisor Joel Anderson for your unwavering commitment and leadership in support of law enforcement and public safety. San Diego is a remarkable community where federal, state, county, and our local partners work together in a coordinated and productive way to share resources and develop mutually supportive programs and investigations focused on disrupting the illicit supply of drugs, and fentanyl in particular, removing dangerous individuals from our streets, and preventing harm to families across San Diego County. This level of collaboration strengthens not only law enforcement, but prevention as well. Everyone here has made a difference through leadership, partnership, and action. As you can see in the photos around the room today and in the sheriff's remarks, these collaborative programs and efforts translated into results. Drugs seized, weapons were taken off the streets, traffickers were identified, targeted, and arrested. These outcomes are the direct result of investment in public safety and our partnerships. Our partnerships are the backbone of effective law enforcement. I thank everyone in this room for your efforts to help protect the communities that we are so honored to serve. Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you very much for those remarks. Today, we proudly commend Senator Brian Jones and Supervisor Anderson for their outstanding leadership and commitment to public safety. Their actions reaffirm our shared dedication to building a safer, stronger, and more resilient San Diego County. Now I'd like to read this commendation. Whereas fentanyl has emerged as one of the most dangerous and deadly substances impacting communities across our nation, and its presence in San Diego County has led to devastating consequences for families and neighborhoods, and whereas in 2021, San Diego County experienced 743 fentanyl-involved deaths, which accounted for more than 70% of all overdose deaths in the region, where in 2024, 52% of accidental overdose deaths involved fentanyl, with the average age of the victims being 43 and a half years old, resulting in 494 lives lost. A positive shift in statistics, yet a significant number of lives lost to be a sobering reminder of the urgent need for action. And whereas recognizing the crisis in 2023, the San Diego Sheriff's Office sought funding to intentionally target the manufacture and distribution of illicit fentanyl and the trafficking issues throughout the region. And whereas in 2023, Senator Brian Jones's proactive response to the growing fentanyl crisis identified the essentialness to safeguarding our communities by seeking a state funding allocation of $1 million towards the enforcement efforts to combat illicit fentanyl to protect the safety of residents in San Diego County. And whereas in 2024 and 2025, Supervisor Anderson secured unanimous support from the County Board of Supervisors to allocate $1 million towards the Sheriff's Office fentanyl enforcement efforts, recognizing that his district is at the epicenter of the fentanyl and opioid crisis. And whereas, as a result of these investment funds, the San Diego County Sheriff's Office and partner agencies have been able to investigate criminal organizations involved in the distribution of illicit fentanyl, disrupting their operations, and securing criminal convictions. Whereas since that investment, regional enforcement efforts have achieved extraordinary results, including in the seizure of nearly $26.6 million worth of illicit fentanyl and the removal of 1,738,557 illicit pills and 118 pounds of fentanyl powder from our streets, as well as 90 arrests of individuals responsible for trafficking this deadly drug. And whereas these efforts have undoubtedly saved lives and prevented countless tragedies, demonstrating the importance of continued collaboration, enforcement, education, and prevention strategies to address this public health emergency. Now therefore, be it recognized on this 27th day of February 2026 by Sheriff Martinez of the San Diego County Sheriff's Office that she commends Senator Brian Jones and Supervisor Joel Anderson for their outstanding contribution in securing a combined $2 million in enforcement efforts to combat the illicit fentanyl crisis, reaffirming our unwavering commitment to ensuring a safer, stronger, and more resilient region. I'd like to turn the floor over to Senator Brian Jones for a few words.
Well, it's an honor to be here this afternoon. Joel and I have been working, Supervisor Anderson and I have been working together for a long time. We've done lots of bills together. We've done lots of resolutions together. We've done lots of things together. I think this is the first time we've received an accommodation together, and certainly from Sheriff Martinez, the first time. This is awesome, so thank you for having us. As we all know, fentanyl overdoses now have become the #1 cause of death for people ages 18 to 45, and that statistic, 43, kind of just rattled my head a little bit. That's amazing. My team and I have been working tirelessly to provide real legislative solutions that deliver the direct aid that our communities desperately need. Unfortunately, many of these efforts have been blocked by some of my colleagues in the supermajority. But we're going to keep working on them because some of them are coming around. And that's a good thing. The truth is, too many Americans, too many Californians, and too many San Diegans are suffering, and that is not partisan. We need to fully fund Prop 36 and allow our men and women in uniform to do their jobs to the best of their ability to get people off the street and into treatment so that they can focus on fighting crime, not corralling homeless. That's why I've made Prop 36 funding the top priority in the Senate Republican caucus budget in this year's negotiations. Thank you. That means a lot. I want to thank Sheriff Martinez for being a driving force here in San Diego. Under her leadership, our county has seen a 30% decrease in fentanyl-related deaths and a significant increase in drug seizures. I also want to recognize the tireless efforts of our federal law enforcement agents and our California Highway Patrol officers and our sheriff's deputies for all of the hard work that they are doing together. Without the efforts of these law enforcement officers leading the investigations, making the arrests, and seizing the drugs, this progress would not be possible. As Senate Minority Leader, I am fighting every day to prevent more deaths from fentanyl and other drugs, and I'm at ease knowing that this funding and the efforts of our sheriffs has put a major dent in the operations of the traffickers and dealers poisoning our city, our county, and our state. And this is an example for the rest of the state to follow. I also want to encourage you to contact my office for any assistance that your agencies may need in state efforts and share any issues that are important to you. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, my handle is @SENBrianJones, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And we follow the hashtag #FixCalifornia. Thank you very much.
Supervisor Anderson talks about the importance of supporting law enforcement efforts to combat the fentanyl crisis. So I'd like him to come up now and have a few words. Thank you.
It's a great privilege to be here. You know, when I first got elected, I didn't know everything in my district, but over the first couple of years, it became sadly too apparent how many of our young people and how many families were impacted by fentanyl poisoning. You know, I ran into Carrie Gonzalez. Carrie is a woman who's on a mission. You see, her son Eric lost his life in a fentanyl overdose. He was poisoned. He didn't know he was taking it. You know, a gram, just not even a gram, a grain of fentanyl can kill an adult. And yet your team has done such a phenomenal job. Over 100 pounds was taken off the street. When you think about the number of lives saved for the pittance of money that we put towards public safety, this is an incredible return on investment for our communities. And I want to just say that in my district, everybody's just 6 degrees from knowing somebody or knowing a family who's been absolutely impacted with fentanyl and the nefarious horrible outcome it has in those families. Even if your child, your loved one, your spouse, your brother, your sister, your parent overdosed and recovered, the addiction that comes from that is overwhelming. Your life is forever changed. Hopefully, you get the help that the county's offering and you're able to change your life. But for too many of them, the only thing that stops them is when they make their final stop as they rest in peace. So, you know, when you get elected, you don't know everything you should know. You learn it on the job. And when I reached out to our incredible sheriff, and I said, this is going on in my district. And by the way, Brian and I share many of the same communities. So we both know this is the epicenter, the biggest challenge for our constituents. And I asked, what can we do? How can we do it? I want to thank Sheriff Martinez for taking the time, putting her team together, and giving us a plan of how $500,000 a year from the county would have a huge impact on my constituents and change their lives for the better. And while she gave lofty goals, we far exceeded it because she had an incredible team. And that team started at the federal level and looked worked its way down past the county level to the local police level. And I just want to thank everybody on the task force that worked so hard. And I like to recognize people in my district who do incredible things, whether they give time or treasury back to the community. I always want to make sure they get the recognition that they've earned and deserve. And so I have some certificates of recognition for your entire team, but I'm going to read this one real fast because my favorite sheriff is at the top of it. There's a lot of sheriffs running up and down the state, but this one's my favorite. In special recognition and sincere appreciation of your unwavering commitment, courage, and steadfast service, we extend our deepest gratitude. And when I say we, I mean this is from District 2. I'm talking about the 600,000 people I represent in San Diego County. But I think if I were countywide, I could successfully say all 3.2 million San Diegans are grateful because you didn't just help my district. You lifted the tide for all boats in this harbor. So I have a sailboat tie, I couldn't help it. Protecting our community and safeguarding the lives of those we serve. Your professional integrity and dedication reflects the highest standards of public service and make a lasting difference in the safety of our constituents. Sheriff, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for your team for doing such an outstanding job.
Thank you. Yeah, and I also want to give a shout out to this entire region. It wasn't just the sheriff's office that did this work. This money went to every agency in the region to do the important work of fighting fentanyl. So thank you to everyone in this room. So having said that, I just want to say that Senator Jones and Supervisor Anderson are true champions who are contributing to the real work and efforts to keep our communities fentanyl free. Thank you, gentlemen. Very nice. And that kind of concludes our presentation. Are there any questions from the media or anyone you would like to talk to or interview? Okay, we're going to do a photo opportunity if all of the local and state federal agencies will come here.